With Date Night at the Movies and similarly with National Popcorn Day, one of the key hooks was to have it be flexible to where every company can kind of do their own twist on it and make it their own. So it wasn't putting everyone in a box.
This is the Box Office Podcast. I'm Daniel Luria, the editorial director of Box Office Pro, the pulse of theatrical exhibition. And in this week's episode, we have two guests joining us for different conversations covering different aspects of the industry. First, we've got Mike Bowers, the Chief Executive Officer of Harkins Theaters and also the Chairman of the Cinema Foundation, to speak to us about the upcoming Date Night at the Movies from the Cinema Foundation that is taking place at cinemas nationwide here in the U.S. on August 22nd. And following that segment, we've got an interview with Darren Lewis, president of Omniterm, a provider of software solutions for cinemas, to talk a little bit about technology, a little bit about operations. So it's going to be a well-rounded conversation as we talk operations, marketing, and we start off the way we always do, recapping last week's numbers and previewing next weekend's numbers with Chad Kenrick and Rebecca Polly from Box Office Pro. Guys, welcome back. Solid start to a new week with the Paramount acquisition finally through. David Ellison starting his reign on top of that studio imminently. We have very positive news from AMC after its latest quarterly earnings report. And we had a surprisingly good opening weekend from Weapons, topping the box office with $43 million in its debut. Rebecca, you and I saw this in New York City. I went to the AMC Empire in Times Square at the Dolby Auditorium there. Where did you catch this?
Same, actually, not at the Dolby, but the AMC Times Square. I can only assume we're adding screen times last minute because we were up on the top level, we're the stuff that they screen the Mandarin language films and things, but it was packed. It was a really good time. You could tell the audience was really into it. It was a fun movie.
Yeah, I had a fantastic time with it. You wouldn't expect a horror movie to bring that reaction. That you had a blast, that you had a lot of fun, but without spoiling it for anyone, the movie does take an unexpected turn in its last third, and that last leg of the movie ends up being a blast. I laughed a lot. I did not expect to have as good a time as I did in that movie. Does that count as a spoiler, Chad? I know you still have to see it, but yes, it is terrifying from point A to the finish line, but I hope we're not ruining anything for you.
No, it's definitely top of my list. I didn't get to my screening this weekend, but it's a priority. I don't think you're spoiling anything. I knew there was going to be some kind of twist, knowing Zach Krager, so I was kind of prepping myself for that, whatever it may be.
The marketing made it look kind of dour, and it's not. So that's pleasing.
And I think some of the reviews that I would call thick-headed wanted to see the movie that a very solemn and serious marketing campaign that made this seem like a very heavy drama thriller kind of lean towards. At the end of the day, you get a movie that's not too dissimilar from Barbarian in just how it paces itself, how it treats its audience, and just how much fun it has with the genre. Now, Chad, you still went to the movies last weekend. You caught a couple of screenings over in Colorado. What did you catch?
Yeah, I did catch the other big title this weekend. Shout out to Harkins. I took my wife and her friend to see Freakier Friday, and we just had a great theatrical experience. I don't know about you two, but when I see something nostalgic, especially when I see something nostalgic, I want my popcorn, I want my icy. The concessions were great. I'll admit I was a little skeptical about the movie itself, but I was pleasantly surprised.
It's a different set of Fantastic Four for Disney, right? You've got Jamie Lee Curtis, you got Lindsay Lohan, you got another two new leads coming in. But it seems like the type of movie you want to see with friends or family.
Yeah, it's a great legacy sequel. It knows exactly what it is, exactly what it needs to do. It's not trying to set up a Freakier Friday universe. It's just, they have fun with it. Yeah.
That's what you want to hear. And that's not the only thing you caught at the movies last week. You also stopped by the Alamo Draft House out there. Did you go to the Westminster location or the one in Denver?
Yeah, the one in Denver. So the Sloan's Lake location. And they're doing this series right now across the country called The Way of the Samurai, which is a tie-in to PlayStation's upcoming Ghost of Yotai video game. So they're screening all of these samurai classics, and I saw Lady Snowblood with a packed house, big inspiration for Tarantino's Kill Bill, and it was so much fun. So much fun.
You've got that Sony synergy already working its magic down there at Alamo with the PlayStation activations. Good call. I mean, if you can do it organically, if you can do it in a way that isn't, I don't know if you guys have seen those clips of the direct to Amazon Prime movie War of the Worlds with Ice Cube.
I've heard
It just ends up
Yeah,
being
I've heard
total
things.
commercial.
It's like all on a Zoom call.
Yeah, it just ends up with like a lot of product placement for Amazon Prime. That's not the right way to do it.
No.
The right way to do it is you go to the spirit of what you're taking over, of what you're working with. You let the people there do what they're really good at, like we're seeing with Sony and Alamo collaborating. But no, I mean, that Amazon direct to Amazon Prime release of War of the Worlds is, I think, in the film social media verse has been the laughing stock of the month.
It reminded me of actually a quote that Josh Brolin said.
I was literally just going to say that.
On the press junket for Weapons, where he was talking about streaming, and there's just so much on there. Why is this so boring, man? And just go to the next thing. It's all the same shit. Like that nails it. Like it just feels kind of like a dumping ground. But yeah, that Alamo series looks really cool. I saw they had like a big popcorn bucket thing that's supposed to look like sold out
like a
immediately.
Rice bucket, yeah.
Oh, man, those are great initiatives here in activating moviegoers, making sure that your rep strategy is solid, that it's relevant. And we're going to need it because, unfortunately, Freakier Friday, which we expected to open on top of the box office last weekend, came in well below our expectations with a $28.5 million debut. I wouldn't call that a disaster in how the film is set up in the Disney 2025 slate, but it's still, I think, underwhelming in the sense that I think this had a much higher ceiling than that opening weekend indicates.
Well, we'll definitely have time to draw in some of those moviegoers who maybe didn't get out on opening weekend. There's not a whole lot new coming out these next couple of weeks, so hopefully that holdover traffic. I still need to get out to see Naked Gun.
Oh, yeah, I do too. There's a lot of catch-up movies here at the end of August. There are a lot of titles showing up, but none of them are coming in with a huge marketing campaign or a big wide release campaign behind them. This is going to be a very difficult weekend at the box office. So after following 13 consecutive weekends over $100 million in the domestic marketplace, we are expecting this to be only the second weekend since Q1 to fall under the $100 million mark. We expect this weekend to have a cumulative gross around the high 70s or low $80 million mark, which is obviously going to be a big disappointment, led primarily by what we expect to be a strong holdover from Weapons from Warner Brothers. We're expecting somewhere between $22 and $28 million there in its sophomore frame. Freakier Friday, we are expecting another bump down, let's say in the teens for that title. And then in third place, the new opener from Universal, Nobody 2, that we are unfortunately expecting a single-digit debut on this weekend. Not something to worry about for Nobody 2. This is not a movie that was made for a lot of money. I don't think anyone's going to be counting pennies to make sure it breaks even. But not really
It's August is going to do what August is going to do.
Yeah, unfortunately. We had quite a number of weekends in Q1 that came under $100 million, but starting in that Q2 recovery, only one. That was, I think, the second weekend of Thunderbolts back in May. That was the only weekend that came in under $100 million for the domestic business in total. Unfortunately, the second one of those slow weekends is coming in this frame, and get ready for the sequel because I think next weekend's also going to be an uphill battle with a number of new releases vying for attention in the marketplace, none of them with a big flashy marketing campaign behind them. But like Rebecca says, that does give us an opportunity to catch up with movies we haven't seen, to go to the movies and have an experience like the one Chad had at Harkins last weekend, or at Alamo, where you get the concessions, you go with friends, you watch something that maybe not everybody is watching when you get back to the office, but something that you want to see with people around you and have a good time. That is one of the reasons why the Cinema Foundation is launching its latest Night at the Movies campaign, Date Night at the Movies, this coming weekend. And to talk to us about that is Mike Bowers, the Chief Executive Officer over at Harkins Theaters, going into all the preparations, all the plans, and some advice to our exhibitors to make the most out of this coming campaign. And we are back here on the Box Office Podcast in this special preview of Date Night at the Movies with Mike Bowers, the president and CEO of Harkins Theaters, the chair of the Cinema Foundation, and vice chair of Cinema United. Mike, welcome to the podcast. It took us long enough, but it's great to have you here in your debut appearance. Always love speaking with executives from the industry here.
Well, great to be on, Daniel. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's talk Date Night at the Movies, because this is one of the new campaigns that are launching this year as part of the Cinema Foundation's At the Movies program. We've had different programs so far this year, but this one I think is fairly interesting because it's coming at a crucial point in the calendar where the programming gives us some opportunities to entice people back in theaters, to get them to watch something they might have missed, watch something again. And you guys are coming out with a number of different specials. Every theater has a choice on what they can do as part of this campaign. So give us a little bit of background. How did this idea come about, and how is the execution forming from chain to chain?
Well, the idea has been in the works for most of the year. And really building off the success of our other programs like National Popcorn Day at the beginning of the year, one of the things we recognized is that if we work together as an industry, everybody and their reach and their social media reach and their marketing reach is really powerful. And so we were able to accomplish that a couple of times this year. And with Date Night at the Movies, and similarly with National Popcorn Day, we thought one of the key hooks was to have it be flexible to where every company can kind of do their own twist on it and make it their own. So it wasn't putting everyone in a box. So if you're a theater operator out there and you want to do, 2-for-1 popcorn, or if you want to do 2-for-1 loyalty points, or we have some companies doing, whole kind of evenings and such, or it's maybe on the candy side, or a combination of all of the above, everybody gets to make it their own. And I think that's where we kind of really settled in the concept of creating that hook that everyone can understand on a national campaign basis, but then really saying, everybody check your local favorite theater and look at what they're doing on social media and look at what they're doing on their website and see what they're offering, because everybody's going to do it a little bit differently. And that's, I think, really the great hook. It's a 2-for-1 treats, and then every company makes it their own.
I think it's a natural evolution also of the Cinema Foundation's original launch of National Cinema Day in the post-pandemic period. That was more of a return to cinemas, right? For the people that hadn't come back, you welcomed them back. That was an open house. This year, what I love is it's addressing the issue that we're facing in the industry, which is, how do we increase frequency? How can we get that moviegoer to come back a second, third, fourth time to our theaters? And that's why I love that you guys are picking specific dates in the calendar where there are opportunities to show off what we have in theaters, our own creativity and our own initiatives to bring people back. From Harkins' perspective, what are some of the specials that you guys have going on for Date Night at the Movies?
Well, every company out there, and because I'm speaking for the foundation, I would say every company's doing something, and some of them are really exciting. And so, I know there's a smaller chain out there that's doing kind of a combo with a whole meal, 2-for-1. There's 2-for-1 popcorns of any size. There's 2-for-1 beverages. There's a lot of different ones. And again, the audience for your podcast is a lot of exhibitors. So I'm going to tell you that at Harkins, we're doing 2-for-1 popcorns and 2-for-1 drinks of any size. But from the broader marketing perspective, I really want everybody to promote their own programs and say, check your local theater, your favorite theater, and see what they're doing, because there's a lot of great stuff. Some of the majors are doing some good stuff. Cinemark always does a great job, with these kind of things, and Regal and AMC are doing something, and so the majors do it. But then you've got another 100 and plus companies that are all doing something interesting as well. If your company hasn't jumped on this right now, there's plenty of time to put together your program and get it on social, and the materials are all there from the foundation to be able to just access them and add your special to it and put it on your socials, because we're going to start the media push and the media blitz over this next week. Get ready for the Friday the 22nd.
I think that's a great starting point. Go to the Cinema Foundation's website, check out what social media assets there are out there for you to start activating that audience and going into the best practices side of it. Because of course, we know that there's going to be a media blitz campaign happening next week to help lift all exhibitors. But from a local exhibitor perspective, Mike, what do you recommend theaters start embracing? I know there's newsletters out there that have all these viewers and that data ready to go. I know you mentioned the social media assets. Get creative, right? Use that TikTok account. Use that Instagram account. I know our friends at Marcus Theaters, they like to get their executives out face first sometimes in their campaigns. What are some of the more creative aspects you think could work to engage these moviegoers in the next week or so?
Well, certainly all of your social channels, and that's an obvious, but I'd say even for your company, put together a quick little one-sheet press release or media alert and get it to the local media in your market. Especially a lot of the media, the morning shows and such, like to talk about these kind of fun things that are happening and get people prepared for the upcoming weekend. And don't think that what your story is not big enough to get on your local news channel and your local radio station. Such hit them up and then follow them up with a phone call and say, hey, that nationally this is happening and this is what we're doing locally, and see if you can get some mentions that way.
I think that's a great idea. And that's such an underutilized asset sometimes in this industry, tapping into your local newspaper, your local TV station, and tell that story through their lens, because that's essentially where your moviegoers are coming from, right? There's a lot of the media campaigns that we rely on tend to be national, if not global, right? We have the studios coming in and giving us a huge assist on that. It's on us on that local level to make sure that local news station has an open door to our theaters.
Absolutely. And your point you made earlier about the frequency and coming back, this industry broadly has been making huge investments in the evolution of moviegoing over the last few years, and they're continuing right now. Every time we get people back in the movie theaters with every great movie that comes out, or even a great weekend like last weekend, which was somewhat of a little bit of a surprise with Freakier Friday and Weapons overperforming. When we do that, and then those moviegoers experience the moviegoing, environment, the moviegoing experience from soup to nuts that we have created as an industry now, and how dramatically evolved and enhanced it was from 10 years ago even, that leads to more frequency. So the more we can do these little programs to get them back in, shake them back in a little bit of the habit to continue the touch point. You saw Weapons. Now we're going to shake you back in and say, okay, come see Nobody 2, or, come see Honey Don't, or come see whatever. And we're going to do this a little incentive or promotion for you. And then that bounces you over. You'll see a trailer there. You'll see a poster there. You'll see the next movie you want to see.
On a per location basis, on this local cinema basis, what have you seen from the partners at the Cinema Foundation in terms of activating your local GMs and your local cinema staff so they're also plugged in and ready to welcome these moviegoers from this perspective? Because it's not like a regular, say, big tentpole opening weekend where everybody wears the studio t-shirt, right? Or the title t-shirt. No, this time you're advertising your theater. Your theater's the main event this coming weekend.
I think it's a crucial point as we continue to do these programs. Now's the right time to, when you're talking to the media and you promote it, to also be communicating out to your entire field, your team, and saying these media alerts are going out. This is the program that's happening nationally. You're going to start seeing this. You're going to get questions about it. Here's what we're doing. And here's what we're doing is great. And so to promote that to your team internally, now's the time to get that out right now. But I can't stress enough, the materials are there. We've still, we're 10 days out from the program. This is the perfect time to jump on board if your company hasn't developed something yet. And the Cinema Foundation there, or Cinema United, anyone there can direct you to the right resources and get you to the help you need to get it launched.
Absolutely. It's not too late to jump in on an initiative like this, an industry-wide initiative, everybody coming together to support the movie-going experience to help frequency get driven back up.
And I would say in the studios support it. All of our studio partners have been excited about this program, and different studios are, giving us some talent mentions and different content like that. So they've been really excited and really supportive.
And I also don't want to forget, on the post-event perspective here at Box Office Magazine, we'd love to reach out to exhibitors for all of our upcoming print editions to get pictures of all the events you guys have. Any pictures that you take during this initiative, please send them our way. Numbers at boxoffice.com. We'll make sure to include you guys in our digital and print roundups of an event like this, of Date Night at the Movies, as we support the Cinema Foundation with this great initiative. And that was Mike Bowers, Chief Executive Officer over at Harkins Theaters and the chair of the Cinema Foundation, which is launching Date Night at the Movies next weekend nationwide. Now, coming up after this commercial break is our colleague on the software services side of the industry, Darren Lewis, the president of Omniterm, speaking with Rebecca Pauley about some of the latest technology and operations best practices for movie theaters to make sure they've got a great complex up and running. That is coming up after this commercial break.
Tired of complicated membership programs that don't actually drive revenue? Omniterm's new flexible subscription solution is built specifically for cinemas like yours. Create custom membership tiers to reward customers with complimentary tickets, exclusive concession benefits, member-only discounts, and seamless fee-free transactions. With secure payment processing and automated recurring billing, you can focus on what matters, filling those seats. Ready to boost customer loyalty and recurring revenue? Visit omniterm.com to transform your theater's membership program today.
I'm joined by Darren Lewis, president of Omniterm. Darren, how are you doing this afternoon?
Doing excellent this afternoon. Thank you for asking.
So I know you've been with the company for a long time now, and then you were promoted to president, I believe, last year before.
Last year in January 2024.
Omniterm has a lot of experience, operationally speaking, of the movie theater industry. You yourself have a lot of that knowledge as well. Could we just start off with what are the basics of what Omniterm does?
Omniterm is it's a comprehensive cinema management software solution. So we go from, I don't like to coin the term soup to nuts, but we do from the box office concessions, loyalty, gift card, online ticketing, or we call web store, subscriptions, digital signage. So we do anything that a cinema exhibitor needs.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And that's so much more than it was even a decade ago. I mean, you have tickets, obviously, and then you have, a lot of independent art house cinemas, they have merch nowadays. They have subscription programs. They have concessions deals, or maybe partnerships with local businesses. Like there's a lot. There's a lot.
It keeps us on our toes because you gotta, we're a software company first, and we gotta continually develop our software for changes in the industry and what's next. AI, what is next? It's continued to evolve, and Omniterm is continuing to do that as well.
What have you noticed that have been the biggest changes, the biggest trends over the last few years? Just speaking to your clients, what are the concerns and how have those maybe shifted over the past few years?
Yeah, I think a lot of the shift has come since COVID. We got to put that word out there because in that pandemic, there's been a major shift towards mobile first ticketing. The expectation for, quick contactless solution is increasing ever so more. Case in point, we've seen the web store or online ticketing increase. Before, it used to be only the blockbusters. So on the average of the year, it's used maybe 10% or whatever. But because of COVID and traceability, it skyrocketed to almost 100%. Now, now, we still see that the web store and online ticketing, it can represent, depending if you have reserved seating or not, 70% of tickets sold are online now. So that demand and that importance and the priority people give to that is increasing, and so is Omniterm.
Mm-hmm. And you have, I'm trying to think the last time I bought a movie ticket, not through mobile or through my computer, just going up to the box office. And it's not just multiplexes. It's, even like art house cinemas, you order something online, maybe you have to go to the box office and pick it up, but it's still all digital. And I mean, when you're talking about taking customers' money, you want to make sure you're getting every little bit of that right.
Exactly. And even so, because the tickets went digital, but so to retrieve the tickets have gone digital. So at the usher station, at the location where people are coming to the movie theater, they want to scan it now. So you want to scan your ticket. You don't want to touch it. It's all digital. That's great because even for our software, what will happen is it kind of tracks when you bought the ticket, when you came into the theater to retrieve your ticket, and all that touch points gives good data for the exhibitor to use down the road.
Well, that's something else that I wanted to ask you about. Data, obviously, is something that I feel like is a very big nebulous concept. There's so much data that can be gleaned from ticket sales, from newsletter open rates, from loyalty programs. What are you able to do through Omniterm to kind of take those raw numbers and turn them into more profit down the line for your clients?
Well, this is great because for us, we have a couple different modules, and we'll say it's different modules, even though it's a comprehensive system, like our online sales monitor, which is a cloud-based solution that collects all the data for ticketing of tickets, concessions, advanced tickets, the performance of movies, as far as you can schedule, we can take a look at how they are performing. That allows cinema operators to make some key decisions on, the movie's doing better than expected. I should move auditoriums.
I'm going to need to make sure we're really staffed up this weekend versus like, okay, maybe we can kind of.
Exactly. And then you're trying to pair that with even the labor costs, and then you get labor costs to sales. So there's a lot of information that you can gather from that one there. But that also, it helps with the loyalty and subscription programs that people are coming. Subscription programs seems to be the top discussion.
Speaking of all the ways that the industry has changed very quickly in the last few years, I feel like subscription and loyalty programs, I mean, there used to be, I mean, loyalty programs, obviously, but subscription programs they just popped up like daisies in the last few years.
Loyalty as a free program, and what you're doing is giving away stuff, so therefore you can get people's email address to market to them. But now it's not just free loyalty programs, it's paid loyalty programs. And then you can do it one time, you can do it recurring, be it monthly, be it yearly. And it just keeps continually to evolve. And Omniterm is doing that with our two modules that we have. We call it enhanced loyalty now. We like to coin a few things, and subscription is self-explanatory.
As a cinema, you can't really not, I think, have a loyalty program in some form nowadays. What are the different things that cinemas come to you and want to do with their loyalty programs? Some of the specific things you can add to kind of customize the experience?
Well, the thing is right now, they are, the whole point is trying to incentivize the customer, or trying to incentivize repeat visits by your customer base, right? And so people are doing offer rewards based on spend. You can offer rewards based on frequency of visits. You can do special promotions. We just enabled something on your birthdays or on the anniversary when you sign up for loyalty rewards. We were talking to a customer yesterday, and they're like, okay, how can we get customers to come back on Monday and Wednesdays? Mm-hmm. Those slow days after the weekend and after the cheap Tuesday or less expensive Tuesdays. How do we get people? And maybe using a loyalty program or a subscription program can give you that benefits on those days there.
You can try things out, and then you can look at the data and see what worked and what didn't work.
That's right. And in the loyalty program, we call it loyalty rewards. What you can do is offer bonus. And that's where people find the most success, is that, okay, on Wednesday, I'm going to give you double the points. Or on Wednesday, when you buy a popcorn combo number 1, you will get, 25 extra points. Those things can drive attendance and drive awareness of your loyalty programs.
I'm just thinking in terms of the cinemas that I go to here in New York. I mean, I love those special events, if it's like a 70 mil screening of something or like a Q&A, and just the ability to plan your month out in the movies. And maybe if you're like a loyalty customer, tickets may be available earlier for you or something like that. Just these little things that maybe the individual theater owners haven't thought through all the little details because it's a lot to think of that you guys know.
Yeah, but you think I was looking about. I'm a subscriber to a subscription program, and I'm looking at like, oh, I got 3 tickets or 4 tickets to go to. Now this will drive me to go not just to Superman or to Fantastic Four, but to what? There's another movie that I normally wouldn't have seen. I'm going to go see now. So again, you're going to spread the attendance across a wider selection of movies than just the blockbusters. I can go see other stuff because it's covered.
Speaking for myself, I'm not ashamed to say I can be a lazy person. And when it comes to like the weekend of something coming out, if I have my ticket already reserved and paid for, I'm much more likely to drag myself off the sofa.
Exactly.
So much of the experience now is online, not just ticket buying for like this weekend, ticket buying for 4 weekends from now. I mean, I don't know how I ever really lived without advanced concessions ordering. At this point,
Exactly.
just walk up there and like, what are the other parts of the whole process that even maybe a customer doesn't know? You can do this online now.
Yeah, customers can enroll in the loyalty program through the theater's online web store to automatically earn points for every single purchase. And it's really truly up to the theater to develop a reward schedule and to incentivize, I said this before, to encourage repeat visits. For the subscription program, customers can purchase that online as well, right? So they can, select, because some people are doing a couple of different tiers, 3 tiers, 2 tiers, and trying to, you make a program that's going to be wide enough for a lot of people to be attracted to. And some people may want to, spend $20, $30, or $40 or whatever. So you got to have that kind of combination, right? But all this has to be done online. You don't want customers to come to your theater and take a look at it. They can do it on the mobile phone because it's mobile friendly. But for us, the programs are fully customizable, allowing cinemas to offer whatever they want to do can be done.
But in a more automated, easy way. I mean, you're not having to keep track of, I have this many points, so I have this amount of money and a gift card ready for concessions. But you best believe I keep track of that stuff.
Yeah.
I know when I have a word coming up, but
but the customers have the ability to go in and look online and see, okay, how many points do I have? What kind of rewards I have? When they go to the theater, automatically at the POS, at the kiosk, all the rewards automatically pop up and say, do you want to redeem a reward? And it's selectable. It's easier for the cashier to know what my name is there. Darren, do you want to redeem any rewards? It's all there. It's very simple, very user friendly for both the cinema exhibitor and for the customer.
I think that people were very worried 5 years ago that, oh no, streaming is going to happen and nobody's going to want to come to the movies again. We've seen that that's not the case. We've seen that people still want to show up for that experience, whether it's like a premium format or it's laser or something like that, like streaming. But streaming has changed, I think, people's expectations of how a process should go. It's not, you want it to be pain-free, contactless. Like it really has marked a shift in like how you engage with the customer.
Yeah, because customers really want a stress-free visit to the theater. We've also seen a continued rise in streaming, and I don't think that's going to go away kind of thing. However, because streaming reshaped how audience consume entertainment, right? I watch my kids and they're all on their small little phones watching a TV show while the TV's on. Still, it's way they consume entertainment. But to stay competitive, cinemas are doubling down on delivering immersive, personalized experience that go beyond what viewers can get at home. Something Omniterm actively supports through tools like loyalty, targeted marketing, email marketing, and customized subscription programs. It's all about what else can we do, because the day of they will come without any what is that word? Enticement.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, enticement could be a good word. You need that enticement now.
And you can customize it to however many emails a week you want to send. I think everybody kind of has their own personal cadence that they prefer. And it sounds like with Omniterm, you're really able to deliver that customization.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that as well. And as part of that email marketing program, you can segment. So therefore, you can go back and ask from all your contacts, from your database, okay, who has seen Avatar in 2022? Pull that list and market specifically for them. So you can have a weekly, here's my show times, which is general, that goes out to everybody. But the benefit really is segmenting the databases to target directly on some customer in certain bases, right?
And you know the best practices in terms of email marketing. I feel like that field is always changing as AI comes along, as technology changes. It can kind of feel like, I don't know what it is I'm quote unquote supposed to do.
Yeah, yeah. And there's no right way. And there's, you know what, every cinema exhibitor in every territory, in every state or province or whatever, what works for one is not going to work for the other. But you got to be able to measure it, right? So when you do that email marketing, you measure, okay, this is what I've done. And then you can look at the success rate of who opened it, what did they come back with? You know what? That did not work. Let's try something different. So it's always going to be a hit and miss until you get that cadence going that you know exactly what your customers are looking for. But it's what keeps our jobs interesting.
Yeah. And you enable the customer to, or the client to be nimble. Like you don't want to find out that the marketing strategy you had kind of wasn't working the way you thought it was when you have like the new Avatar movie coming out in 2 weeks. Like you kind of
Yes,
want to
exactly.
be able to get on that.
Yes, 100%.
Well, Darren, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. It's a really big subject nowadays. I think if you took someone who maybe worked, was a GM in like 20 years ago and just like popped them down today, they would be like, oh my gosh.
Things have changed.
Yeah.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you. Allow me to participate. And it's been a pleasure talking to you.
And a huge thank you to Darren Lewis for joining Rebecca Pauley for that interview. Earlier, you heard from Mike Bowers, the Chief Executive Officer over at Harkins Theaters and the Chairman of the Cinema Foundation. And even earlier than that, you heard from my other colleague, Chad Kenner, speaking with myself and Rebecca Pauley, previewing next weekend at the movies. If you like what we're doing here, don't forget to rate us. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave a review, positive if you can. That helps us do what we do every week, and we will talk to you again next Thursday.